Today on After the End Credits, I'm very upset because I just saw a video on YouTube where someone attacked one of my top 10 all-time favorite films. This must be discussed. I had another film in mind, but I have switched gears quickly. It means I don't have notes in front of me, but we are talking about one of my top 10 all-time favorite films. And so I think I can do this without pre-planning much of it. I've been going over a little bit of it. I've been going over a little bit of it in my head, so hopefully we won't have any more of those major stumbles like what I just had. It's almost worth refilming, but I'm running late. I've got to get this done. The film in question today is Mary Poppins, an absolute classic, an absolute delight. I give it 2 thumbs up. If you have not yet seen this and you don't want it spoiled, as soon as the alarm goes off, it will be time to stop this video, find a way to see it, watch it with the whole family, and then come back here and I will present to you my ideas, what's on my mind about this film. As secondary spoilers, I would say you may want to check out Harvey and Forrest Gump as well. Now, Forrest Gump is not quite a family film, however, so don't gather the whole family around that one. But Harvey is also a charmer. And I might mention Big Fish by Tim Burton. The main focus, however, is Mary Poppins. This is your spoiler alert and your last chance. Mary Poppins is not only one of my favorite films, I think it's one of the Walt Disney Company's best films that they ever made. It is an absolutely wonderful, family-friendly story, beautiful in every way. And before I get to what I actually want to talk about, what intrigues me about this film, it is a classic example of what a real family film is. I have seen far too many films that are G-rated, and G stands for general audience, but what they should really be rated is K for kids. I have gotten things that I thought looked like a good family film that my daughters would enjoy, and I have sat on the couch just dying inside. Even as, when they were younger, they enjoyed the film and they were having a great time. But I was just cringing. I was cringing at the dialogue and the directing and the acting. And there are films out there, and the Walt Disney Company has made its fair share of them, especially after Walt died, where it's no fun for the parent. But Walt Disney knew how to make films that were fun for the kids and fun for the parents. The kids got the colorful visuals and some of the sight gags. The parents got the deeper messages. And Mary Poppins is a beautiful example. Real quick, just to review the plot, of course, Jane and Michael Banks are 2 young children whose father, Mr. Banks, is a bit cold. He has fallen into the standard old-fashioned thinking. And this was actually true for a while in Western cultures, especially Britain, where the parents and the children just didn't really socialize, especially if you were much more nobility, if you lived in a manor house and had servants and such. Then there was a nanny who took care of the kids by day, and maybe at night they'd come in and say goodnight to father. This is the Banks household, and he even sings that in his opening song. And so I'll pat them on the head and send them off to bed. That is the entire scope of his daily interaction with them, according to that song. They're in need of a new nanny, and so Jane and Michael propose an offering, an advertisement, and Mr. Banks rejects it because it's very childish, and he sends out a very professional one. And the result is Mary Poppins, who comes flying in on her umbrella and instantly begins to transform the lives of the children. She helps them clean up the nursery with the simple act of snapping her fingers in one of the most charming sequences of the film and the song Spoonful of Sugar. At another day, they're going out for errands when they learn that her Uncle Albert, I guess it's her Uncle Albert, we just know him as Uncle Albert, needs help. He has started laughing again and is stuck on the ceiling of his house. And Jane and Michael and Mary join them. They have a tea party floating in the air up near the ceiling. And then I think those are the two, well, no, the chalk picture outing, where Jane and Michael and Mary Poppins and Bert the chimney sweep all end up inside one of Bert's chalk pictures having a jolly holiday. This should be old news. If you're watching this far, I hope this is old news to you. But through so much of this film, easily the first half, it seems to be about Mary and the children going off on fanciful adventures. And then there's a twist. Mr. Banks gets tired of hearing that his children are just out engaging in frivolity. And so Mary Poppins cordially agrees and says, yes, you should take the children to the bank. Actually, she very slyly makes it sound like it was his idea. So Mr. Banks, who works at the bank, takes the kids to the bank the next day, introducing them to adult life and the concept of investing money, something that is very important to him. The children object to that in a way that causes a panic in the bank. It causes a run on the bank, and the run on the bank causes Mr. Banks to lose his job. But at the end of the film, he has seen the light, and he, despite losing his job, comes home and invites the children to go fly a kite with him in the park. He has become a new man. This is the crux of the story. As I said before, so much of it is spent on these magical, wondrous adventures. People might get confused and think it's about Mary and the children. And yes, if you've seen Saving Mr. Banks, the whole point of that film is Walt discovering that P.L. Travers wrote Mary Poppins because she wanted to redeem her father. I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is fictionalized for the sake of the film Saving Mr. Banks. But independently of that, I did come to realize one day what this film is really about. When I was a kid, I laughed hysterically at the cleaning up of the nursery and Uncle Albert laughing on the ceiling, and I loved the magical adventures. I actually didn't really quite get the point of the film. I was just a kid watching the fun parts. As an adult, I cry at the ending. The start of the ending, where Mr. Banks walks through the dark streets of London at night to go get fired. It's as a parent, as someone who, in my family, we follow the traditional model where it is my obligation, it is my burden to go out and earn for the family. I have actually been fired twice in my 35 years of holding down jobs. I'm not proud of it. It has hurt. It has been, it has wounded my pride. It has been embarrassing at the time. I'm kind of over it now. I feel free admitting it. But yeah, the film just gets me. And it is beautiful. As a filmmaker, I love it. It's just so well written. It's so well acted. I think it has some of the Sherman Brothers' best songs that they ever wrote for Walt Disney or anybody else. Just a spectacular film from start to finish. And I will kick off by going back to this video that I mentioned at the start of it. I was browsing YouTube, and I opened YouTube, and YouTube decided on the home page, its algorithm decided that I wanted to see a video with the heading of the title, "This Film Destroyed Fathers in America." And the thumbnail of the video was Mary Poppins. So naturally, loving Mary Poppins as much as I do, I had to see what this was about. And I watched the video, and it was the thesis of the video maker that Mary Poppins was an assault on traditional fatherhood by painting Mr. Banks out to be nothing but cold-hearted. He says in his opening song, "Tradition, discipline, and rules must be the tools." Maybe it's not his opening song, but in one of his songs, he sings that. And yet Mary Poppins comes along, and she teaches the kids that life is all about fun and play. And So according to this video, Mary Poppins just brings a very bad philosophy, and that's why we have such an immature generation that we're facing right now. And I agree that we have an immature generation. I disagree that Mary Poppins is the problem. Because Mary Poppins is not there to teach the children that life should be all about fun. She's there to teach Mr. Banks that life is not all about work. He has gotten into a rut. He is loveless to his children. The way he treats them, the way we see them treated by him in the first parts of the film, obviously they're fiction, but that kind of behavior by that kind of father throughout the history of parenthood has raised children who end up adults that resent their father or have nothing good to say about him because there was no love. Mary Poppins comes along, and yes, it is an interesting film in that how much of the film actually has very little to do with the point. We have 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes total. I'm trying to just add up the three big fanciful adventures are probably the first hour of the film with a little bit of in between. And yet we need those scenes so that the kids will actually become an irritant to their father. Their father will actually become more frustrated that these kids aren't being raised his rigid way. And then the second half of the film is him waking up to seeing my rigid way is bad. Now, I don't think his rigid way is all wrong. Children do need to learn about tradition, discipline, and rules. We have those in my household. But my wife and I have worked to create a balance where the kids have fun as well. And there is love and joy. And this is something that the Sherman Brothers pointed out in an interview long ago for radio. It's the whole point of the song, Feed the Birds. All it takes is tuppence, 2 pence, to go buy some bird seed from the bird woman sitting outside the cathedral and toss it to the birds and make the birds' day. And although Mary sings that to the children, that song is for Mr. Banks. Mr. Banks needs to learn he's not even giving an emotional tuppence. He's not even giving a tuppence amount of love and tenderness and kindness to his children. They are birds, and they are milling about in life, and they just want a little bit of, they just want a little bit of love. A little bit of love will go a long way. And he's not doing that. And it is paralleled brilliantly at the end of the film when he fixes their kite that was broken at the beginning of the film. And how much does he spend to fix it? Tuppence. It's the opening line of the last song. With tuppence for paper and string, you can have your own set of wings. He showed them that little bit of love, and they go off to have this fun afternoon in the park. This is not a film encouraging an entire generation, when it came out in the 1960s, that fathers are mean and nasty, and work and tradition and rules are bad things. This is a film teaching fathers that along the way, as you are raising your children, you must do it with love. Bring in that joy, bring in those smiles, bring in those hugs, bring in those kites. Enjoy that time with your children. Okay, that's kind of my rebuttal to this video. You may not have seen that video, or you may want to hunt it down on YouTube. But that video brought Mary Poppins to mind, and so I figured I would talk about what really intrigues me about that film. That whole everything I talked about is beautiful to me. Again, I didn't see any of that as a kid, and as an adult. Then I don't remember the precise day, but as an adult, after my teenage years, after college, and after getting married, I sat down and watched that film, and I just went, "Oh, this film is so beautiful in what it has to say about life." But let's talk about what I really find interesting about its structure. And in order to show you why I find it interesting, we have to briefly delve into the works of a man named Sid Field. He wrote a book that is considered absolutely mandatory in Hollywood. It's called Screenplay. And in it, he lays out what is called the three-act structure. Now, I have a disagreement with some friends of mine who are into filmmaking, who are tired of the three-act structure, and they claim that Sid Field invented it. Sid Field did not invent it. He discovered it buried in stories throughout time. Our written stories, our oral traditions from millennia ago. There is a story pattern that is satisfying to the broadest scope of audience, and that's why so many movies follow this template, is because when Hollywood spends millions of dollars on a movie, they want it to appeal to as many people as possible so they can get their money back and more. I realized just now that I don't need to go into everything that Sid Field has to say about the structure of a film, but I do want to talk about a key element of his book and of his advice for anyone writing a screenplay, and that is you need a protagonist. And this is true of novels and other plays and such. So he's not inventing this, he's pointing it out. You need a protagonist, and he's got a life of some kind. Indiana Jones, in the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's an archaeologist. He's a very adventurous one. He's willing to take great risks. He's got a rival who is willing to commit murder. And when he finds whatever he's out finding at any given time, he takes it back to America, to the university where he teaches, and he gives it over to the curator of a local museum. This is what he does. So that's the opening of the film. That's our introduction to who this man is. And then something happens. He gets put in a position where he now has something to achieve, and this is the body of the film. Our protagonist now has a goal. And getting from the turning point that sets him off on his adventure to the arrival of reaching that goal is the point of the film. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, he has been asked by the government to secure the Ark of the Covenant from the Old Testament and keep it out of Nazi hands. And along the way, there will be challenges. A good film will have the hero encounter difficulties. He won't just automatically, just breeze right in and go, well, that was easy. That makes for a boring film. Okay. That is called, in Sid Field's screenplay formatting, that is called the A-line. The A-line is a real-world, objective, it's an objective, if that makes sense. It's not a subjective feeling type of thing. There's a definite, what word do I want? Just concrete? There's a concrete objective. There we go. We'll go with that. In Star Wars, the concrete objective is to defeat the Empire. I don't know, maybe that's probably good enough. But this is very typical. Very typical. Watch almost any movie, and there will be a protagonist who has an A-line, real-world, concrete objective to achieve. He also has what's called the B-line, and the B-line is the transformation of his character. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones begins as a skeptic about spiritual things. He has this throwaway line when he's talking to the government agents. And they say, wait a minute, you mean the Ark of the Covenant? He says, yeah, the Ark of the Covenant that Moses brought down out of Mount Horeb and the Israelites carried through the desert, if you believe in that kind of thing. Didn't you guys ever go to Sunday school? And so he's got this very flippant attitude toward the spirit world. toward God, angels, all of that. At the end of the film, having witnessed the wrath of God poured out on the Nazis, he has changed his tune. So he has undergone a transformation. Another quick example, and I know I'm hitting on this because it's going to be key here in a moment. Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman. The A line is he wants a job so that he wants an acting job so that he can raise money to put on a play that he has written. And then along the way, because he's dressing up as a woman to get this job, there are complications, many complications. Linda Seeger, I believe, is the one who in one of her books points out there are 5 layers of complications to this. His relationship as this woman, as Dorothy Michaels, his relationship to the producer of the soap opera, to Julie, his co-star, to Sandy, his girlfriend, and there's a couple others. So it's just this... and the A line is all about him getting out of all of this and ending the film having a relationship with Julie and having the money to put on his play. The B line is he starts out as kind of this sleazy womanizer. He hits on every woman at his birthday party. And by the end, he has become more of a respectful gentleman. I think it could have been a little stronger, but it does a very good job. It's an excellent film. Okay. That is the format you will see just about everywhere. The Marvel films, Harry Potter, any horror film. It's all there. Okay. If it's got any depth at all. There will always be an A line. If it's got any depth, there will be a B line, the emotional character change and things like that. Mary Poppins is in a genre that defies that, where instead of the central character being a transformative character, Indiana Jones gaining a respect for the spiritual world, Luke Skywalker going from kind of whiny young boy type to brave hero of the galaxy, Dustin Hoffman, Michael Dorsey, realizing that he's got these character flaws and comes to treat women better. That's usually your central character has the A line and the B line. Mary Poppins is part of this film structure, this screenplay structure, where that doesn't happen. She is the central character, and she does not have a B line. She does not change. Her character is static. She is the same person at the end of the film as she was at the beginning of the film. She really, she doesn't even really set out to do anything. What happens is, because she is immovable, the story is about the people who come in contact with her and what happens to them because of that. And in Mary Poppins, it is primarily, almost exclusively, about Mr. Banks's encounter with Mary Poppins. And I find this change in plot structure intriguing. I don't think every film needs to be like it. I think Sid Field is right in having identified that the normal format of a protagonist who undergoes a physical adventure and an emotional transformation is very crowd-pleasing and fits so many stories that have come even long before Sid Field was ever born, long before films ever existed. You'll find it in operas, you'll find it in plays. He's right about all of that. It's very common and it's very crowd-pleasing, but it isn't the only way to do things. And so I do like this structure of the plot where the main character doesn't move. The main character does not transform. And because of the main character's immovability, everyone else transforms. So I said at the beginning, potential spoiler alert for Harvey and Forrest Gump, and I'll leave Big Fish out of it. That's actually different in a different way that I don't have time to explain. But Harvey, classic play by Mary Chase, turned into a film starring James Stewart, is very much the same thing. The central character is Elwood P. Dowd, who goes around introducing people to his invisible 6.5-foot tall white rabbit named Harvey. And He's an embarrassment to his family. His sister, Vita Louise, decides one day that she's going to have him committed to the local sanatorium. Sorry. Sanitarium is different than a place where you put insane people. The English language can be tricky. Anyway, the film is about her attempts to get him locked up and all of the problems that happen in trying to do that. And so Elwood P. Dowd is in the center of this thing. And from the beginning of the film to the end, he is a nice man. He is a harmless man. He is a naive man. He has no negative opinion of anybody. The world around him is cynical. The world around him is mean, nasty. And he just breezes through life. And despite all their best efforts, by the end of the film, he walks off into the sunset, same guy he was at the beginning. But because he is immovable, he loosens up his sister. His, what would that be? His niece, yes, falls in love. His niece finds a potential spouse. The doctor and nurse at the sanatorium fall in love. People's lives improve because they come in contact with him and because they try to change him. And the more they try to change him and the more he won't change, the more, when the dust settles, they look at their lives and they are the ones who have changed. They are the ones with the B line. And Forrest Gump is another one. Just touch on this one real quick before we're done here. Forrest Gump, played by Tom Hanks, doesn't really change. He is naive. He is innocent. He is harmless. He holds no cynicism about those around him, in part because of a mental handicap, which, if I recall, we don't even really know what it is. He's just got... His thinking isn't up to par with what we would call normal on the bell curve of the average intellect. He doesn't understand. He just doesn't even comprehend when people are, how do I say it, out to get him. And nobody's really out to get him in the film. He just doesn't understand. He doesn't understand people with hidden motives, people with anger issues. He doesn't get it. He doesn't even see it. And all through this film, his girlfriend Jenny, Lieutenant Dan, his commander in the war, all these people he encounters have lives that are sad, lives that are bitter, lives that are problematic. And the more he just stays right here as a static character that doesn't change, the more that they're coming in contact with him helps break them out of their sadness, their bitterness, their despondency. Because he is so innocent and sees the world so innocently, eventually that has an effect on the negativity of the people around him. It has become very hipster to say that Jenny is the villain of Forrest Gump. The problem with that is there is no villain in Forrest Gump, because there is no protagonist in Forrest Gump. There's a main character, there's a central character, but he has no goal. He's not trying to change any of the people around him. He has no objective. He is simply moving through life from one event to another to another. In the case of Forrest Gump, he does have a yearning for Jenny. He likes her. He wants to see Lieutenant Dan happy. But it's not like Luke Skywalker proactively trying to achieve something, or Indiana Jones trying to achieve something, or Harry Potter trying to achieve something. He's just there. At any given time, he's just doing things. And it's Jenny and Lieutenant Dan and was it Bubba, and his mother. All of these people change because he doesn't and won't. He won't give in. He can't give in. He's too naive and innocent to give in. Anyway, I need to wrap it up. I very much appreciate so much about Mary Poppins. I could do several videos on the different aspects of Mary Poppins, but my own personal limitations are I talk about a movie once and I find something key about it to share with you. And so today it is that plot structure in Mary Poppins where she doesn't move. She doesn't move, and because she doesn't move, the characters around her who need to move instead. Mr. Banks is the one with the B line, and the transformation is beautiful. Definitely recommend the film, as I said before. It is a treasure. In fact, one of the Warner brothers, I believe, or maybe it was one of the MGM heads, when that movie came out, somebody from another studio actually wrote to Walt Disney and complimented him, congratulated him on creating a movie that, I mean, they recognized it when it came out. They recognized this is a landmark movie. This is a turning point. This is a monument. This is a benchmark that people will remember, and they were right. And it continues to this day to be one of the Disney Film Company's best films. All right, that was my little foray into having some fun talking with you again about something that intrigues me about the movies. I'm Brian Johnson. I'll be back next month with episode 3 of After the End Credits. My goal is the second Sunday of every month, so that will be March 8th, because March starts out just like February. So I'll see you then.